Wake up and smell the coffee, Mr. LaRusso.
Extreme situations require extreme measures.
Yo, what's guys, Cobra Kai Karate here. Today we're ranking all 5 of the episodes in Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 1. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but this is it. I actually recorded this about a week ago, and guys, I have to warn you, I accidentally did record this with the echo on. I tried to remove it as much as possible. I think it sounds pretty good. You can still hear a little bit of it, but I removed as much as I can, so if it's a little out, it's a little bit bad, I'm sorry. This is a pretty big rant, as you can see how long it is. So if you guys just want to listen to me rant about this, about my upsets of the season, well, you're in for a treat. So here it is, guys, and let me know your ranking in the comments down below. See ya.
And coming out last place for me is episode 3, Sleeper. Now, this episode was all over the place, and well, I'll say this: I did love the opening scene where Johnny and Daniel and everyone was happy. They were not insulting each other. They're actually having fun, being friends, which is what you've been setting up the last 5 seasons. Let me say, when I speak for at least 90% of fans, this is what we want. We do not want them splitting up, breaking up, doing all this bull crap, and fighting each other. And like even before, they have always just been insulting each other. And like in this season, I feel like they're like not even friends anymore. And it's fine having arguments, but when it gets to that level, it's a bit ridiculous. But anyway, I did love the opening scene, and finding out that Johnny can have a girl is gonna be really exciting. I'm really curious on how they do that. So yeah, that I did like. Now let me talk about the whole sleepover thing. I did not like how Tori and Sam were just friends right away, and they're all cool now. When in season 5, all they did is ally against Silver. There was no scene of them actually like becoming friends, doing stuff, getting stuff together. So, and even in the beginning of the season, they weren't really friends. They only became friends after they beat up Kenny. I mean, what? So I don't really get how they're like having fun, hanging out, when they never really had a scene where they actually like talked about everything. They're just friends. And you know, even like the whole pillow fight thing, like laughing, having a pillow fight, I'm like, what is this? So it just didn't make any sense. But some of the stuff in that sleepover thing was funny. Obviously the jokes landed, it was really funny. Johnny is all amazing. But I just found it weird how they go from hating each other, then they ally against Silver, and then out of nowhere they're friends. And then out of nowhere they bring up this whole thing where they're friends the whole part, but then Tori goes like, yeah, but we're getting with my boyfriend, like out of nowhere. And then they start going back and forth for like 30 seconds. I'm like, wait a minute, you guys didn't talk about this before you supposedly just became best friends? You'd think if you became best friends, you guys would have already settled this, or else why are you friends? I don't know, but that whole scene I did like. I feel like it was a scene that had to happen. I just didn't like how it happened, and it kind of happened pretty weird and rushed, and I feel like they only did that scene just to get it over with, if I'm being completely honest. And honestly, they don't really capitalize on it because they put Tori back in Cobra Kai, but that's for another time. Anyway, and let me say the pacing is really bad. I mean, again, it is really bad. Not only is it really weird to go to really serious dark scenes in Korea to a sleepover girl party, everything everything from Robbie, we don't see any Robbie at all this episode, like literally at all. And that's like 2 episodes straight, from episode 2 and 3, 2 episodes of him having no arc, no depth, just like him saying a couple of lines in the background. And yeah, I think it only says like something in the beginning of this episode of like saying, oh, Sam and Tori, they need to become friends. And then at the end of him like talking about like there's actually no depth or arc added to his character. There's 2 episodes of him just doing absolutely nothing, pretty much. And we also barely see any Miguel either, or Hawk and Robbie. It's just so bad. The pacing's just awful. And I think that's what you get when you have 35-minute episodes. Let me say, the Korea stuff, I did like some of it. I did love the new villain. I think his name's Juan, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but he is awesome. I feel like he's acted really well. He reminds me of a young Chosen. I love seeing him. He was awesome. And I can't wait to see more of him. But yeah, I do not like seeing Kreese saying you need to be ruthless to beat a person, and you gotta be heartless to beat someone of heart. I think that goes against everything that they've been setting up to be. But, you know, I'll talk more about that in other episodes. But anyway, now it's time to talk about the big thing, the Miyagi thing. Now let me say this. Yes, I know Miyagi's not some angel, and yes, he made mistakes, but what is the purpose of bringing it up? His character and his legacy are so important and so special, especially with Pat Morita's passing, and then trying to paint him as a bad guy is just wrong. Yes, he made mistakes, but brutally beating up a guy and stealing a necklace, come on now. His legacy is what everyone looks up to. You can't just mess with that like it's nothing. And like everybody knows he made mistakes, but the fact that you're bringing it up and trying to paint him away is ridiculous, and I do not like it at all. And I feel like they're just reaching for stuff because they ran out of story. I mean, look at this episode from an outside point of view. This episode is literally Johnny and Daniel. I mean, Johnny getting Tori and Sam in a sleepover to try to make them hate each other again when they just became best friends, supposedly. And then the other episode is just Carice in Korea teaching this one guy that we never heard of. And then the other part is Daniel finding out this thing about Miyagi's path and then chasing down a guy and like beating him up and trying to get news. Like, this is such a reach. They're literally reaching for story. I mean, this is basically a filler episode, and they're trying to create stuff. I mean, none of the stuff that happens in this is natural. They're just creating story because they clearly ran out of story, which is why I do believe season 5 should have been the last season, because that's when everything reaches natural conclusion point, from the redemptions, from Silver going to jail, from Cobra Kai ended, from Kreese getting redemption. Everything was perfect. But yeah, this episode was absolutely atrocious. I'm gonna give it a 6.5, and honestly, that's being a bit generous. So yeah, that's all I have for this episode. That's the last place. Now let me say, the next 2 episodes, I don't like either of them. Some of them have good moments, some of them have bad moments, but I do not really like either of them for big reasons in both. But for 4th place, I think I'm gonna have to go episode 5, Best of the Best. I know a lot of people love this episode, but me, I really do not, and it's gonna take a long time to describe, so let's just get right into this. Okay, let's talk about the opening scene with Kreese just showing up. Not showing or saying how he got there, when he got there, or how he found Tori. They do this a lot. They do it so much time. Like, whether it's from Chosen just leaving and they don't explain how that happened. From how did Kreese get to Korea? How did Kreese get back to America? How did he find Tori? Where did Chosen go? What happened to Kenny? Like, if you write a story where you have the viewers guessing what happens and filling in your plot holes, that's bad writing, plain and simple. Because literally, the viewers have to make up what happens. Because you just so much plot holes in this. It's ridiculous. And I'm sorry, Tori and Robbie not telling anyone about Kreese just because she doesn't want people to know that they're in contact is absolutely insane. This is a wanted man, and for some reason we just forgot that. I mean, this is absolutely illegal right there. If you know there's a wanted man, you don't tell authorities or anybody. That is illegal. And Robbie's like, oh, I won't tell anybody. A wanted man we're talking about. Bloody hell. And like, how did he even use airlines to get to Korea if he wanted man? How is he inside Spain when he knows Daniel's going to be there when he can clearly turn him in, which I know is a different country, but that you can still attack the authorities where you cannot come back to America. And sometimes you can't even leave the country, so it just makes no sense. What's going on? And here's the thing, why even make him a wanted man? In season 5, he literally gets out the next day. Why even have the whole escape thing? Because now he's a wanted man. So either you have to have him be like Beyond the Shadows, or make it ridiculous, and they're make it ridiculous because him walking around like roaming free like nothing happened as a wanted man is ridiculous. So I don't know why they even did that in the first place. But anyway, but Johnny trying to teach content was funny. That was a really funny scene. It was amazing, and I loved it. But I do not know why Daniel was mad about it. It was really weird because last season they agreed that they could teach both styles, and Miyagi said there is no right way, only your way. So why did he expect Johnny to only teach Miyagi though? It makes no sense. But I guess anything to create unnecessary drama. But anyway, and yeah, Daniel saying this is not what Miyagi would want. Goes against everything he said in Karate Kid 3, and what Johnny and both agreed on at the end of season 4, and throughout season 5. It's ridiculous. But let's talk about this. We get to the past, then we get to the passing of Tori's mom. And before I say anything, I want to say Painless acting was amazing. I mean, it was probably one of the best in the show. But when the camera pointed at the fist and it played that boom sound effect, it has to be something. That wasn't there just for a reason. And I have a very bad feeling that they're gonna have Kreese kill her, which makes no sense. But the way they're setting it up, from her showing the fist and then like making the boom sound effect, from Kreese talking to her before, from Kreese knowing where her address is, it really worries me. If they do that, I might stop watching the show, because Kreese literally was the person who stuck out his hand for Tori. He literally put his own dojo in jeopardy in season 4, saying you can fight not dirty, basically giving Miyagi a better chance of winning. All because for her. And if he kills her mom just for the chance that he sees her fist and maybe joins Cobra Kai, that will not only be terrible story writing, it'll probably be one of the most embarrassing things the creators have ever done. But anyway, I had to say that. I really hope they don't do that, but I'm just saying that right now. Anyway, we all knew this was going to happen with Tori's mom dying, and I think they could have used this for her to win it all and to fight stronger. Instead, they reused her arc, and she had already gone through. They throw her back in Cobra Kai, and probably going to have another redemption arc. Well, she just had one. And this is what I don't like. they've been setting up a redemption arc for Tori for like 3 seasons, and now that we've got to that point where she's in Miyagi-Do, she's reached the clarity, she's friends with Sam, and everything's going good. You don't spend any time to grow it, to capitalize on it. You just throw it right back into Cobra Kai and recycle it. And sorry, her mom dying has nothing to do with her joining Cobra Kai. Remember, this is exactly dojo with Kim Da-eun. Do you remember what Kim did to her? I mean, what does her feelings of Cobra Kai have to do with her mom dying? That's a completely separate tragedy. I mean, yeah, she's going through things, but why would she? What would that have to do with Miyagi-Do? It's not like they set anything up. If they set something up of maybe like her feeling conflict in the dojo, of her not wanting to be there, or maybe like a conflict of Daniel choosing Tori, of Sam over her. No, there was no conflict of that at all besides 1 second of it. So she just joins Cobra Kai because her mom dies, even though that has nothing to do with it. Are you telling me if like Johnny dies, is Robbie gonna join Cobra Kai? If I don't know, Daniel dies, is Amanda dies, is Sam gonna join Cobra Kai? I mean, think about it. What is the reason why she's really joining Cobra Kai? There is no actual reason besides just trying to create unnecessary drama, forcing drama, and trying to make new plots because you ran out of them. I mean, there's no reason why that should be there. I hate how they just reusing another redemption arc, and I just do not like it at all. And her joining Kim is ridiculous. I mean, it makes no sense. And I know her mom died, but that has nothing to do. I'm completely separate of it. Anyway, enough with that thing. I just really do not like the guy. It's just a lame excuse to go back to Cobra Kai to recycle something they already done because they're running out of story. That's just the fact of it. But anyway, and here's the thing. Now what are they gonna do? Are they gonna have her fight in Cobra Kai? She's gonna fight along beside Kim, along beside people she does not know, and fight against Miyagi-Do, and fight against her friends, and fight against everything she's been set up to be. That's what she can do because she can't rejoin Miyagi-Do because they already replaced her with Hawk, so she can't rejoin Miyagi-Do unless someone steps down. So she's gonna fight in Cobra Kai or not fight the Saikai guy. Both are stupid options and make zero sense. Anyway, let's talk about this. I don't know why Johnny would be mad at Daniel for teaching them by himself. Now, I need to talk about this. This is so bad. This is like the whole call dealership thing where Daniel's gonna go teach him and Johnny's gonna stay there. And I don't know why Johnny would be so mad about Daniel teaching them by himself, especially since he literally did the exact same thing yesterday. And why does it even bother them that much? This is literally what they agreed on. He agreed on it episodes ago that he wants to teach Miyagi-Do. This is the way. I don't get it. It goes against everything they've built. It puts their trust and friendship in jeopardy. And for what? To teach how they want? Even though last season you guys were completely fine with it, and literally episodes ago, doesn't make any sense to me. And then we get one of the worst scenes in Cobra Kai history, and I am not exaggerating when I say this. So Johnny is giving a test drive, and he sees Daniel Carr, and he just freaks out. He flips out. He goes over there, and then we get this stupid argument about how he doesn't want him to train them, and when I don't know why they can both train them at times, and Johnny taught them all by himself last time, and gets mad at Daniel for doing the same. Then he goes back Then he goes back and gets on the counter and screams that he's quitting. So, you mean to tell me that 2 episodes ago we had a whole arc about him finding himself, how he needs a job, how he needs to get forward progress to get his family a house, how he restrained his anger to beat up that one guy with the stupid haircut. He does all this stuff, and he throws all that away, puts his family and his pregnant wife in jeopardy because he saw Daniel teaching the students? What? Are you kidding me? Because that's literally what it was about. This is just bad story writing, plain and simple. I mean, 2 episodes ago, he had a whole arc about how he needs a job, he needs forward progress to get a house. This is going to put that in jeopardy. His family in jeopardy, his pregnant wife in jeopardy, because of an argument in the woods against Daniel. About what? Him teaching the students Miyagi-Do. Or is it teaching them by himself? Both are stupid arguments. What is the point of this? We've been through all this. And they just throw his whole arc, his whole progress of Johnny and Daniel in the trash for nothing. And also, no Kenny in this episode, in the dojo or anything. And they do that a lot. They don't even mention it. Or whatever. Let me talk about something I did like. It was my favorite part in the season, actually. Well, so far. It was Miguel and Robbie fart. The Miguel and Robbie fart? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna say fight. Holy crap. I mean, what Cobra Kai am I watching? Anyway, the fight was awesome. It was done well, and it was amazing. And you really did not know who was gonna win that fight. So I made it even more great, more suspenseful. Holy frick. And I love how Robbie comes back from 0-2 after seeing Tori. It really shows how strong they are together, or at least on his part, because Tori basically left him. But whatever. Now, the Sam and Tori fight was also great. It was really suspenseful, and everything was amazing. And I know I have not been the biggest fan of Daniel and Johnny stuff of them fighting, but their argument at the end actually made sense. It was a lot more natural. It wasn't more forced, because they both had the reason, from Daniel not wanting to fight with anger and dealing with grief that way, and also like Sam being beat up brutally, and Johnny saying like that's how you work through it since he's gone through it. You understand both points. I do think Daniel's a lot more in the right, because someone could get really hurt because of this. But you understand both points, and I think the argument actually makes sense. What I do not like about this is how the argument turns into a big pettiness spewed, where Daniel literally punched him in the face when he literally was just saying, you can't fight, you can't do this, and then he punches him in the face with anger. Yeah, that's really good there. And then he says, after the tournament, we're done. When no less than 20 minutes ago, they met on common ground again, and they made agreements on like, yeah, we gotta do it better for the students. And now after this argument, you cut each other off after all you've been through. Everything you've been through, after one argument, you cut everything off. And now this is gonna create a more toxic environment in the dojo, and gonna create more speed in the dojo, and it's all really for nothing. And then we get the scene where we find out Mr. Miyagi fought the Saiga Taikai, which once goes against what he stands for. The whole Miyagi-Do way is about fighting for legacy, honor, not for trophies. And apparently Mr. Miyagi did that too. And I mean, even them doing it in the Saiga Taikai is a bit stupid, because like Cobra Kai is not about being like the greatest guy if you're, with a trophy in you, like showing how great you are. It's really just about protecting yourself and family, which was season 5. So season 6, I feel like, is not necessary. It's just there just to be there, honestly. Because the end conclusion should not be a big world tournament, them winning it all. The end conclusion should be them fighting everything they fought for and protecting Miyagi-Do, keeping the Cobra Kai, which was literally season 5. Whatever. And I also don't like how we jump right to Saiga Taikai. I mean, we get no scenes of Robbie trying to talk to Tori or Sam like this. Okay, this really makes me mad. So you tell me right after she leaves, crying, her mom found out his mom dies. Robbie stays there and just gets his little headband with a smile on his face. Are you kidding me? No one goes to talk to her? Like, what is going on? Like, God forbid she could do something really bad to herself. Like, her mom just died. She's going through, like, terrible pain. And you guys just don't even care. And then she goes right to the Saiga Taikai. We go right to Saiga Taikai. We get no scenes of them trying to talk to Tori. No scenes of Robbie and Tori. No scenes of Sam and Tori. None of it. We just jump right to Saiga Taikai. And still, nothing to Chosen. He just leaves in episode 3. And they don't even mention it. You think they would at least say something to the students, or, I don't know, the viewers? But no, they don't say anything about Chosen. Like, I know he went to Okinawa, it shows it. Well, it shows like he's going to. Like, you can't, that's bad writing. You can't just not show it at all. Like, you just can't do that. Anyway, whatever. Then Kreese comes out, and sorry, once again, this guy's a wanted man. Are we forgetting that? Like, he knows Daniel's gonna be there. He can turn him in. Like, it makes no sense. And yes, we do see Tori there. I already talked about that, but yeah, this episode was a huge headache, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna give it a 6 point. It had some cool moments, but it was just all over the place. It was pretty bad. Alrighty, enough of that rant. Coming at 3rd place, I'm gonna go episode 2, The Prize. Another episode that's pretty all over the place, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about here. So let's just get right into it. Alright, first off, the thing I did like the flashback at the beginning. That flashback of Kreese and showing Kreese how he still had heart in there and how he cared for Kim, and seeing Kim's father, Kim Sung-young, who's a really important character in the Karate Kid like lore and legacy. I feel like they did his character really, really well. I like all this stuff. That stuff is really good. However, Kim and Kreese talking was a bit weird. Kreese saying he wants to win it all with Cobra Kai, but none of them even mention that he's a wanted man. It's odd. It's really odd. I mean, it is likely that Kim found out what happened with Kreese and Silver, and how, because here's the thing, Kim never knew about Kreese, how Silver's framed Kreese, and Kreese never knew that Kim was in Cobra Kai. I mean, these are two things these characters never knew in season 5, and they don't even mention it. Maybe they found out about it somehow, but they don't even mention it. I mean, it's just so much stuff to talk about, and I don't like how they, and here's the thing, here's another thing I do not like. I'm fine with Silver not being the first 5 episodes, but them not even talking about him like barely at all, it really makes it feel not important, and it really just kind of just breezes past like it's nothing, I'm being honest. It's a really weird thing, and I feel like they have so much stuff to talk about, and they just don't talk about it. They just start talking about the tournament. I mean, first off, how the hell did Kreese even get there? I mean, we just show Kreese at the end of the episode. They don't show how he got there. We don't know what Kreese did, how he got there, how he got in contact with Kim. We don't know how we found out that Kim was in Cobra Kai. We do not know how we found out that Kim, we do not see any scenes about Kim finding out that Kreese got framed or he escaped. We don't see any of this stuff. I mean, this is the problem with this. It does not feel like a sequel to season 6, to season 5. I mean, if you watch the end of season 5 and then start watching season 6, it feels like a completely different show. I mean, it's just so stupid. But anyway, it just, I mean, Kreese can't take a normal plane there. I mean, he's a wanted man. I mean, you can't put you have to get your ID. So, I don't know. It's like Kim knew or helped him to get there, and even if she did, them not mentioning it or explaining it or how he got there is just bad story writing. I mean, it just like is. Anyway, also, how the hell is Kim Sung Young still alive? This dude has to be around 100 years old at the youngest. So you're telling me he can still walk and talk, and for some reason Kreese is scared of this guy? Like, Kreese is scared of the guy who's 100 years old? Okay, perfect sense. Anyway, alright. And then also, Kreese saying how Johnny beat 5 of his students. How does he know about that? How does Kreese know about that? Did Kim tell him? I mean, how would Kim even know about that? She was not in there. I really wish they had seasoned them talking about what happened in the finale, because these guys just know this stuff and they just expect us to know how he knows it. There's so much to talk about and they just don't do it. I mean, it's just stupid. And then also, what was the whole Kyler thing? Like, why is he all buddy with him? Like, you want to come hang out with us? When it's only been days or weeks since he was literally about trying to beat him up. Like, I understand why they went there to learn more about the college, and then obviously Miguel would step in and help him because that guy was being an a-hole to him. That's just like common decency. But like, the fact that they're talking to each other like they're friends, which is it's just a bit weird. Here's a big problem with this whole thing. I already talked about it. It just doesn't feel like a sequel to season 5. The way people are acting makes it feel like it never happened. From Sam and Tori becoming friends just because they beat up Kenny, from Kreese saying you have to be heartless, not caring for Johnny after he very much did in season 5, and Johnny having problems with Daniel when they were cool in season 5, it just does not feel like it at all. But let me talk about this, the cave scene, which was absolutely ridiculous, pointless, and contradicting to Kreese's character in the past. Firstly, him getting bit by Cobra is not something you just brush off. This is a big deal. There is a 90% chance of dying, and if you look at the symptoms of after getting bit by Cobra is a lot deadlier than what he had. So like this, I know this show's not all realistic, but that was just so corny and so campy, and it was honestly just ridiculous. And it's like a 7-year-old man too. It was just so stupid. And anyway, okay, and he just walks away like nothing happened. And then we get this flashback where he says, "Johnny is my weakness, but no more." And then literally just snaps his neck. When in season 5, correct me if I'm wrong, he was literally breaking down and crying about how he taught him the wrong thing and how they've been setting up a redemption arc from ever since he came back on the show. But now, after he gets bit by a Cobra, he just doesn't care about Johnny, and he starts teaching things to students what he was breaking down about weeks ago. I mean, he was saying this is the wrong thing to teach. I taught Tori the wrong thing. I taught Johnny the wrong thing, and how he taught students the wrong thing. He was having a whole thing. But now, weeks later, he gets out and he just says, "Oh, never mind. That whole crying thing, that whole flashback of having that was just whatever." It's just bad writing. They're trying to make him a villain again, and I don't know why. I mean, I guess I do know why, because you put Silver in jail, and now you have no one else to be a villain. Because season 5 should have been the last season, because Silver went to jail. Because Silver is the villain. This guy is the end. This guy was it. He was a villain. He is so awesome, and he actually does not have any redeeming qualities. Kreese does. Kreese has redeeming qualities. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, he's going to get redeemed at the end. That's also terrible, because you can't just start an arc, pause it for 5 or however many episodes, and then continue it. I mean, you can't just start developing feelings to a character about he starts feeling sorry for certain things, and he taught the students the wrong thing, and then pause it for a couple episodes, like, oh no, he's a bad guy for a little bit, because I don't have no one to be a bad guy, and I have plot holes, so let's have him be a bad guy for a little bit. But don't worry, he'll become a good guy at the end. Don't worry. When Silver gets out of jail, because I haven't dealt with that whole plot issue either. Like, what the frick? Okay. Anyway. And honestly, if you wanted to be a bad guy, I don't know why you just keep him a bad guy. If you wanted to be such a bad dude, why did you even start redemption arc, if I'm being honest? And also, if you wanted to get redeemed at the end, but wanted to be a bad guy in the beginning, why do you set a redemption arc at the end of season 5? Why not just keep him a bad guy in season 5, and then it would make sense for him to be a bad guy in season 6, and then have the redemption take place in season 6? I don't know. I guess I can't answer that. Now let me talk about what I did like this episode, and it was Johnny. Johnny was amazing. Him trying to find a house for his family and looking and holding back his anger and doing an amazing job. Amazing. I love his arc. He was amazing. It showed a lot of depth to his character. But where the problem lies, which is what I already talked about, he throws everything. He throws his job and his future away, the future of his family away, over a dumb argument in the woods of Daniel. And it shouldn't even be an argument in the first place. And I know that's a later episode, but it's hard to look at it the same when later on it just gets ruined. But the individual storyline in this episode was good. One thing about this episode, we see no Robbie or Sam, except 2 lines in the beginning at the college. That's it. And also, we see no training or anything to do with Miyagi-Do with the students, even though that was a big part of part 1. Like the whole thing in part 1, episode 1, was about the students Miyagi-Do, and then we've seen none of it in episode 2. And this is what I mean when I say the pacing sucks. They pick something up, drop it for an episode, and then pick it back up. I mean, it's just terrible. And I guess that's what is the price you pay when you have 35-minute episodes. But anyway, this episode I'm giving a 7 out of 10. It's pretty bad, pretty good. I did like some of the things. Honestly, you can make it lower. I did not the biggest fan of this episode either. Hell, now that I'm thinking about it, this video might be longer than the Cobra Kai episode. Anyway, guys, today we're here with the top 2. Now, the top 2 I actually did like. These are 2 episodes I did like. So, number 2, I'm going Underdogs. Underdogs do have problems, I'm not gonna lie, but I did like this episode. We're gonna get into it right now. So, Underdogs, episode 4, Cobra Kai, season 6. Let's get into it. Now, first I want to talk about the first problem that there is here. It's the opening scene. I do not like how Anthony and Kenny are just joking around, like, oh, look out, I'm coming for you. And they're just suddenly like kind of friends a little bit without any talk about what happened. I mean, the stuff just doesn't just happen overnight, you know? I mean, because you train in the same dojo and Kenny changed how he thinks and talks over one small speech of his brother, it makes no sense. I mean, you have to start developing that stuff. This is what I mean when it feels it's not like a sequel to season 5. It's just stuff happening, and the writing is just pretty lazy at times. And also, I'm sorry, but Daniel picking Anthony and Dimitri over Tori. Are you kidding me? He picks, in his listing thing, he picks Anthony and Dimitri over Tori. That is just so dumb. I do not like how Johnny and Daniel are so biased this episode. I mean, Daniel for Anthony, Johnny for Devin. It's just so immature. It makes them look so dumb, and it makes them feel like they don't want the best to win. Like their mindset be, I want the best to win for the dojo. Instead, it's like, oh, I want my son to win, or I want this girl to win. I hate how they're so biased. It makes them look like man-child. It makes them look like bad senseis. Okay, but let's get something else. And also, one small nitpick I had. This is not a really big deal, but you really let Assface in over Bert. I mean, Bert is an OG. I love Bert. We let Assface in over Bert? Seriously? Whatever. But anyway, I love Mike Barnes this episode. Seeing him back was amazing, and the scenes of him saying who was top 12 and like them doing like the whole tournament style thing was awesome. I mean, it was so fun, entertaining, it was great. And Mike Barnes was awesome. He was written well, acted well. It was amazing. And then also them trying to catch the chicken was awesome. Reference to Rocky 2. I love Rocky references with a passion. So yeah, I love it. But also, can someone explain what that Yasmin scene was? I mean, what was the purpose of that scene? Yasmin just come in there and just start making out with him, and then that's it. There's no purpose of that scene. I really don't get what the purpose of that scene was. Maybe for the future, I do not know. But anyway, I did love the whole flag stuff. It was really entertaining. Now here's the thing I do not like. I hate how they continue to disrespect Hawk's character. Having him get destroyed by Devin Lee in the flag stuff in the flag games, and then lose to Dimitri. Hell, the only reason he's in the second fight guy is because Tori left. He is a backup, a replacement. Stop making him look weak. This is the All Valley champion, and in season 5, you get beat up by a middle schooler, Kenny, and have him on the air, wheezing for air. And then now you have this. Like, come on, guys. This is just getting ridiculous. Like, do you guys not care for this character? At this point, just have him not be in the show if you're gonna keep disrespecting him. Okay, but anyway, I did love the fight between Mike and Johnny. It was awesome. It was so great. It was done so well. But you know what I liked even more than the fight itself? The fact that the fight made sense and it had purpose. From Johnny wanting Devin to make it, and Mike starting to go back to his old ways and looking for a fight because he has so much anger in him. He's kind of like itching for a fight after like everything that happened to him. It really made sense of why that happened. And also, I love the scene where he says to Daniel, he says, "Maybe if I was a bad guy, my business would have got burnt down." It's like actually like a real feeling that, like, almost an arc he goes down a little bit of like how that happened, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm really happy they explored that, and I really did like that. Now, I also did like the Hawk and Dimitri argument. Although I do think Dimitri was a bit whiny, it made sense. I really understand both points, and honestly, these are teams. They're gonna have arguments, and it made sense too. Like, they both have this disagreement. It's not like they're like, 60-year-old men fighting in the woods about, who trains the students more. But like, no, this argument really made sense from Dimitri. Like, this is their dream for ever since they're a kid, and it's something he really was passionate about. And it also, from Hawk's point of view, he wants to look at other colleges. He doesn't want to keep so one-minded. You understand both points, and it actually is a really good argument, and it felt like real, almost like a real argument like a teens would have. So I think that was actually good. That wasn't like forced drama. I feel like that was actually done. It came off a bit natural. But one thing I did not like is how Devin basically drugs Kenny. Not only that scene a bit ridiculous and a bit gross, it's just so unfair to Kenny and honestly disrespectful to his character. The fact that they do that to his character, have him get kicked out of the Saigai Taikai, it's just pretty. And I'm not even the biggest fan of his character, but that was just disrespectful. And also, Devin joining the Saigai Taikai just because that she basically is cheated. I'm sorry, it's gonna create a toxic environment. Not only in the dojo of the Miyagi dojo, it's going to create drama between Kenny and Anthony. And now we have a cheater at Miyagi-Do in the world tournament. But goes against everything Miyagi-Do is. Like, I just don't like how that happened. Like, why did you put that scene in there? I don't know. And also, again, the pacing sucks. From last episode, Korea and Kreese were a big thing. And Miyagi's past and all that stuff was the big stuff. And now we don't see any of it. We don't see nothing of Kim in Korea, nothing of Kreese in Korea, and we see nothing, not even a word of Kreese's, of Miyagi's past. They don't even mention it at all. And also, no Chosen. So he just leaves episode 3, and then they don't even mention it. Which, I know it's next episode, but he's also not in episode 5 either. So he just goes to Okinawa, when in episode 1 he said Miyagi-Do's all he has left. But that's literally what he said. And after one little word that Daniel says, like, you have to value what you have now, he's like, okay, I'm leaving. Bye. Well, you didn't say bye. They don't even say it. Like, I'm sorry, don't you think it's weird how they don't even mention it? They don't, like, we don't see scenes of Daniel, like, talking, like, oh, Chosen left. This is a big deal. It's just so bad. The pacing is so bad. Like, it actually might be one of the worst pacing I've ever seen in a show. And I'm not even like, the pacing is terrible. But anyway. This episode was alright. I get a 7 out of 10. It was really entertaining, had some problems, but overall it was actually really fun and entertaining. Alright guys, now the one episode I actually did like is episode 1, and I think it's called Facetime in the Valley. This episode was actually really, really fun, guys. I really like this episode. So let's get right into it. So, I want to talk about one thing I did not like. Okay, I know I just said on this episode, but I have to. I don't like how Johnny's saying, since when do I run stuff by you? It seemed like, it just did not seem like him, honestly. And Daniel was very reasonable by him. Like, he just started bringing his stuff in his dojo, and just like doing all these like really dangerous stuff. And he's like, oh, can you just let me know next time? He's like, since when I run stuff by you? It's like, okay, what was that for? And even like in the beginning, he's like, oh yeah, we have to do our own way. Like, who's gonna trust take karate from a car dealership, man? Like, the way he's just talking, just like, why are you creating this drama? Like, they're friends in season 5. Like, they're actually best friends. I mean, they're partying, they're hanging out. Like, there's barely any argument. Like, why are we doing this? I don't know. And then then we get this whole fight between Chosen and Johnny. Now, let me say, in later scenes, it does make a lot more sense. From finding out about Chosen and Komiko, and find out that Miyagi-Do is all he has left. And he wants to protect that, like, the honor and the name of that. And also from Johnny's point of view, from like the whole eagle thing. Like, the eagle thing was real to him, and he built that like from stone to stone. Like, you understand like why they were both fighting for it. But the way the argument just kind of happened was a bit campy, and the fact that it just felt a little bit campy and a little bit out of character on how that fight happened, how it started, you could say. I did like seeing Sean back. Sean was really good, and you can understand his reasons too. Like, from like, you basically like took my younger brother, put him like in a karate cult, and like left him there, and like messed with his head. I don't like how Sam and Robbie and everyone kind of like, and I don't like how they kind of force him to get there. Like, I don't know why I tried to force him in Miyagi-Do. Like, they track him down. Like, you have to come in Miyagi-Do, you have to leave this. Like, it's not like he has Cobra Kai to go back to. I mean, like, I don't know why they just leave him alone. I mean, obviously going to check on him, but like, they like went him down to like try to get, like, force him into Miyagi-Do. It's just really weird, like, why they did that. It was just a little bit weird how they did that. But anyway, I loved that Stingray scene. It was not only hilarious, but his speech, I'm gonna be honest, nearly made me cry. Like, it was amazing about how he got confidence, how Cobra Kai is his legacy. The speech was so good. That speech was so good. And honestly, that speech fell in line of how Daniel was, how Johnny was feeling at the time. Maybe not Cobra Kai, but, you know, Eagle thing. About, like, he wants to be the person, he wants his legacy, and he wants to do it his way, and Daniel, that's his legacy, I want to do my way. And it made a lot of sense. I mean, that was a good speech. And it fell in line with what he was saying. And honestly, I would not fault Johnny if he wanted to go down his own way, as long as it wasn't a whole drama fest. But, like, I wouldn't fault him if he wants to, like, do his own thing. But he does make, and I do think it was the right decision of entering Miyagi-Do, where he goes there and he says, you know, I want to be a part of Miyagi-Do, it can be called Miyagi-Do, and we got to teach defense. It makes me and my students better, even though he does not think that, because he gets mad at Daniel for teaching defense to Miguel. Anyway, but like in this episode, it was really good. I love that there. But the problem is, why put that speech in there? Because you have a whole speech about like he had to take back Cobra Kai, then he just doesn't use that at all. I mean, we only have a scene of him like having like being conflicted about that speech. I feel like that speech was just there to like, oh, is he gonna do it? That's the only reason that speech was there. I saw. Now, where the problem lies here is that whole scene of like him coming together and then like actually like getting on the track, which I love that scene, is thrown in the dumpster in later episodes for no reason. So I can't look at the same integrity because of that. But overall, I love it individually. Now, the fight scene of Robbie and Sean and everybody, that was a little underwhelming. But I still liked it. But Sean saying this will only take a minute and then striking first, like, that basically make it. So let me get this straight. So Sean says this will only take a minute and then strikes first. And he's saying like, oh, I do not like these guys. You cannot trust these guys before. But then after he gets beat up, he says, you got to give him a chance. And oh, striking first is dumb. What's that? You literally just striked first. And you were just saying how you do not trust these guys. So after he beats you guys up, which I guess maybe he held back a little bit, shows a little bit more character. I don't know why he changes his whole point of view like in one snap of a finger. And even for Kenny, he's saying like strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Like he's saying all these stuff, and yes, maybe he does run Miyagi-Do, but the way he joins is like so fast, and like there's no conflict in the dojo between like the teachings. How he was just saying strike first, strike hard, no mercy, like later. It's really weird. But anyway, I really liked this episode. It was really fun. Had some problems like a lot of the episodes. All of the episodes, but I still like it. This is the number one episode. Maybe it's an 8 out of 10. Maybe an 8.5 out of 10. It was fun, but you know, some of the stuff kind of gets ruined, so it kind of, yeah. Alrighty, there's that really long review, guys. Holy moly. Yeah. So overall, this season so far, I'm gonna give it a 6.5, maybe a 6. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10 for the whole part so far. Not the best. But yeah, nothing much I can really say about it else. There's my ranking. Let me know your ranking in the comments down below. What did you like and dislike about the episodes? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Always been Extreme Measures. Peace out.